Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, coming with Black Minds News. Today's date, July 18, 2019. We're going to the state of Tennessee. An incident happened where a family had just left a park. It was hot. Decided, let's get something to drink. As they pull in to get an unmarked police car shows up, and you have to see the rest. I said it's abuse of official power. You'll see and you'll make the determination. That's what you think. Now again, this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet, and this show is to report, transmit, transcribe, incite with good intent, relay, decode, unveil, where it's hidden, don't matter. We get our stories from websites, news publications, and quotes from publications. We give first and foremost on this channel the honor and due praise to the creator of the universe. Why? Because the truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this land that you call the United States, we as the BADOS, those say Black American descendant of slaves. Some say Black African descendant of slaves. Others say American descendant of slaves. We, the descendant, the historical lineage of this land, give honor to our ancestors. You know what my motto is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Stay tuned with this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing again? This is Black Minds News. I'm your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds. Again, today's date is July 18, 2019. Want to first and foremost to my subscribers that should be subscribing to the channel. What's good, y'all? Fam, always trying to bring another show. Again, I'm going to be coming out. You know, if you stay caught up, you stay up. If you can't, well, it is what it is, right? Say what's good to you as fam. Passerbys, if you should just happen to, again, got to go through some obstacles, get over some mountains, go through some caves, go up and under trash bins and finally figure out this show over here exists, well, you got lucky because this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Go down the aisle, go in my library, see something you might like. If you just happen to see something that may just make you like, I don't like this channel, maybe we could work something out to get you to come back another time. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth don't need no partner. Sometimes things that are said might just be offended or offensive, but you can always send a message and say what you something you didn't disagree with, and then we can converse about that. Now, let's get into this show. Now, we got to look at it like this, right? You know, it seems like on this show we do a lot of dealing with the police, as if we don't like police. Now, that's not what it's about. We do these shows to bring awareness to more primarily to the black Americans and people in general about some of the mishaps that happen between, you know, the official capacity of law enforcement versus the citizenry, right? And at times, a lot of the situations can be justified. And then there's times when there are situations that are very questionable. It don't look good, don't smell good, and we sure know it don't taste good, right? And so when stories present itself, as those are the black media of the black corner of the internet, it is our job to somehow bring these stories to awareness to our people so that you are aware. Again, in this show here, we get our news from all over the state of the 50 states of this United States. And then we also go international when see a story that fits, right? And so this story here is going to go in Tennessee. And as I was saying into the introduction to the show, you have a family who doing some family things, right? They're a young couple and taking the little one out, taking to the park, that's a family thing, right? That's that rearing, bonding, the child gets to see mom and daddy together. It's learning, growing, right? And it's a good thing. So it's a hot day. And afterwards, after doing some playing, right? Out absorbing a lot of the sun. And let's get something to drink, right? So I go drive over to the gas station. As they get into the gas station, a car pulls in behind them. And you're going to see, and I ain't got to tell you about it, then I'll talk about it after the fact. So let me let you see this first, and we should be right back. Check this out.
Breaking news right now. We are learning more this morning about why a Metro officer has been stripped of his police powers for the first time. We are hearing from a woman who says security video shows the officer using excessive force on her. And News Channel 5's Nick Barris is live in the 5 Alert Center with more on this exclusive story. What's going on, Nick?
Well, I'll tell you what, Adam. By now, most everyone has seen this controversial video, which surfaced just last week. The woman says she was stopped, she believes, because simply she is black. It has now spawned at least 2 separate investigations raising questions about the officer's conduct.
No one apologized. No one tried to speak with me, tried to speak with him, get our side of the story or anything.
So now Adriana Ensley is speaking out exclusively to News Channel 5. She and her family, she says, had pulled into a Z-Mart on Dickerson Road when an unmarked Metro squad car pulled in behind her. She says an officer, Barrett Teague, came up and explained to her that her car's tags were not expired. Now she insists they are not expired. Ensley then got out on her own to double check the tags herself, and this is when the security video shows Officer Teague grabbing her and throwing her several times against the vehicles there in that parking lot. She and her boyfriend were cuffed and issued citations for resisting arrest. Meanwhile, Ensley says her 18-month-old son was left alone for several minutes in the back seat of a hot car.
I had to kick and scream in the back of the police officer's car, like, get my son, he's only 1. It's hot, the windows are up. It's hard to trust police officers now that something like this happened.
Now, Metro Police have seen the video. They have decommissioned the officer and issued a statement in part, quote, the administration of the Metro Nashville PD and Officer Teague's supervisors are very concerned with what the video shows. Now, the video was also the topic of conversation at the meeting last night of Nashville's new Community Oversight Board. All right, the Oversight Board looking into this as well. And I'm told the PD may be opening a criminal investigation into the officer's conduct. The Fraternal Order of Police, meanwhile, says it's important that people not rush to judgment until all the facts are known about what exactly happened here. There is much more to this exclusive interview, and I've uncovered some disturbing details from Officer Teague's personnel file. Much more of this story, much more of that interview coming up tonight on News Channel 5 at 6 and 10. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Was it the use of excessive force? Well, by now, many of you have seen the security video of a Metro officer engaging a woman during a traffic stop in East Nashville.
He's now stripped of his police powers and under investigation. In an exclusive interview, the woman in the video talked to News Channel 5's Nick Barris about what happened and why she feared for herself and the safety of her small child.
Okay, goofy monster.
Adriana Ensley and her son are all smiles now.
Say hey.
But just a few days ago, she feared for her family's safety.
We're just stopping to get something to drink because we just left from the park.
Ensley says they had pulled into a Z-Mart on Dickerson Road when an unmarked Metro squad car, lights flashing, pulled in behind her. She says an officer, Barrett Teague, told her the car's tags were expired. As he walked back to the squad car, Ensley went to check the tags herself.
I just went, I peeped, and I walked back to the car. By the time that I got to my driver's seat ready to get in, that's when he came up from behind me.
Security video shows Teague grab Ensley and throw her several times against other vehicles.
There was no necessary reason for him using that type of force against me. It scared me senseless.
Then you see Ensley's boyfriend get out of the car, but He resists intervening.
In my shoes, like I could have did something and led to something way worse. Like I could have been killed.
Instead, both the boyfriend and Ensley were cuffed and placed in squad cars, issued citations for resisting. It was late afternoon on a sweltering day, and Ensley was most concerned the officer left their 18-month-old son alone in their car.
I had to kick and scream in the back of the police officer's car, like, get my son, he's only one, it's hot, the windows are up.
Eventually, the child was removed unharmed. Metro Police have seen the video and issued a statement in part, quote, the administration of the Metro National Police Department and Officer Teague's supervisors are very concerned with what the video shows. Teague has been stripped of his police powers pending the investigation.
Decommissioned, like, that's a good start. I understand that, but if you could see the anger in his face.
Ensley thinks Teague should be fired. Now, Metro reports her tags were expired, but Ensley maintains she was targeted and unfairly treated.
I just think he stopped me just to pick, like, just because we're black. It's hard to trust police officers now that something like this happened.
And in addition to the Metro PD looking into it, Nashville's Community Oversight Board is now reviewing what happened. And I've learned there is now a third investigation that could potentially bring criminal charges against the officer. Meanwhile, the Fraternal Order of Police says it's important not to rush to judgment based on the video alone, and people need to wait until they know all of the facts. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
This is not the first such incident involving Officer Teague. We checked his personnel file. Teague was suspended 4 vacation days last year for what the PD described as a use of force incident not consistent with department policy.
All right, but don't be alarmed. Don't jump to conclusions, right? So, so what we see here is, again, the same old suit, just reheated, right? Seems like sometimes, again, a minor infraction seems to be escalated to try to get more than one. Because, again, we have to ask yourself that if a police officer is pulling you over saying expired tags, right? So I'm assuming that when he came to her, did he get the license from them? You know what I'm saying? You know how when police come to your car and they say expired tags and want to see your license and insurance and registration, all that good stuff, right? So you comply to that, right? So he went back to the car, right? So under the assumption of just logically, I'm thinking that you got everything you had, right? And you went back to the car. Now, she got out of the vehicle to go back and look at her tags to see what he was talking about. Now, after she peeked, as she said, and looked and went back to her car, he's coming out the car. Now, why did he feel the need to become confrontational, physical, and abusive, right? He's grabbing her up, got her arms, throwing her up against the car, which would be the hood, and then against her door. Then he slams her on the other car that's parked because it's inside of a gas station, right? They call it Z-Mart, right? And, you know, it's very excessive, right? If you and I is in a relationship and that come, I'm going to jail for domestic, right? So, again, he was an unmarked car. Them flimsy ass lights that he had back there flashing, I don't know if you would even notice that, right? I don't know. Maybe based on the way the film is showing, and again, according to what city and state you in, you may have unmarked, but they're not that flimsy. That shit there was like almost some Christmas lights on your shit blinking. You know what I'm saying? You can't see that shit. But anyway, so we see that the sister named in this story, that we'll go ahead and give you a little information for those who might want to know a little bit more personal as into the story here, right? So what we see, again, this is in Tennessee, and the sister name is Adriana Ensley, right? And the officer that in question here is Barrett Teague, right? So Barrett Teague is the officer. Adriana Ensley is the young lady, and the brother, the boyfriend, right? I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken, Latreus Perry, right? Latreus Perry. Now, he restrained himself as much as possible as a man can do in a situation like that, right? Because you're caught in a hard rock, in a hard position. Now, a lot of us will be like, you know what I'm saying? Gonna have to do what we gotta do, right? And then there's those a little bit apprehensive again, using intelligence and understanding and trying to make sure that you ain't too much, that I see that she's dealing with it. And that's what he kind of did. He swole up a little bit, right? He just let this president be there. And, you know, this motherfucker, he pushing him back. Now, I don't understand how you end up arresting him, right? All he did is just be there, present, to make sure and let you know his presence was there. And then if it got too much out of hand, I guess, you know, he was going to have to let everything do what he had to do and deal with the consequences, right? And that's the kind of situation they be putting you in, right? And so, you know, something that's supposed to be a spy attack should have never got to that level. Because it's very simple. Again, if he goes into his system and runs the plates, then the plates would have came up. Because again, you heard that the sister Adriana Inslee say her tags ain't expired. Now, myself personally, I done been in that situation where they done lied and told me that my license was suspended. I didn't have no insurance, right? And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, check this out. Motherfucker, I'm on the SR22. All right, anybody know about that SR22 ass shit? SR22 is when you done been in a situation prior before, and let's say they either caught you with a lapse in insurance or didn't have no insurance, and then now you got to get insurance and make sure you got to keep that payment going for a certain period of time. So here it is, you catching me in a situation that I had already had an SR22. Then you going to say in your system that you going to tell a lie and say I didn't have no damn insurance and I had that. Then you say my license was suspended, which was a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Again, see, that's what I'm saying. Why there's no trust in the community with police officers, and especially black community, is due to the simple fact of our history, what we've gone through, what you constantly lying about, right? So you got a lot of these people who are working for these departments who are psychologically imbalanced. A lot of them, the reason why you are police officers is because you can't do shit else. No, I'm not going to say all of them. I'm going to say there's a lot of potluck ass motherfuckers that's in police, that are police officers who couldn't do shit else anyway. Wasn't smart to do nothing else. Really was fuck off motherfuckers when they and then say, well, fuck, I'm just going ahead and be a police officer. All right, so you got this motherfucker here. Now he got some power. Maybe when he was growing up, he had a lot of insecurities, a lot of things he didn't get. Now he got a badge and a gun. Now he going, again, because that's what that looked like. This motherfucker just went, wow. Why? Because she checked the plates? You mad at her because she checked the plate? Somebody looking at your work? Now all your shit finna be revealed. And then what was funny about the situation is he had shit prior about use of force prior before that. So you already burned up. You understand? He's already burned up. And again, as I said, they don't care you buy 6, take that 12 jurors and cut that check. White folks out here giving checks. Let me say that again. Based on the shit that's going on out here today and the way these motherfuckers can't seem to control their damn self, allow them to go ahead and vent, do their little process, and then come on back later and get that check. See, this is one way we're going to have to do things to break the bank, is fucking with their finances. You going to keep putting motherfuckers on here to keep doing this shit, then what we're going to do is we're going to flood the damn court systems up until you figure out that it's not economically viable for our department in the city. Because again, like people got problems and talking about what people on welfare and we don't pay for all this and that. Well, ain't you gonna get tired of paying for that? It seems like they don't. They ain't never tired about that. That's like military expense. You know, military is the number one expense in this country, right? Then propaganda with media, right? That's 1 and 2, right? So they ain't gonna never have tired of be putting defense mechanism, because again, they know that's their first ADT against if some shit they think in their mind that somebody's coming to boogeyman, Baba Yaga's coming to get that ass, so they got to have their ADT in place. So they don't mind paying out, because again, they look at it. You see, when you read these so-called, when you go on these pages and see the people with the comments, you listen to the shit that they're saying, they always seem to justifying the shit that go on. They can't be understanding from the perspective that what you coming from, because again, they can't understand that shit. And either they don't want to, or they have psychological problem where they can't even assess that, right? And most likely number two, right, than anything, right? And so we see this Barrett Teague ain't no different than a lot of cops. Now again, that one bad apple make a lot of different cops to be fucked up, right? And so collectively, we have to look at that for, again, when we put the side between the good and the bad is piling up. So we ain't got having no trust with you because, again, it's shit like this that happen all the time. Whether people, again, if you really doing some shit that's breaking the law and this happened to you, well, black folks ain't gonna never be out there protesting about that kind of shit. But when there's somebody on innocence and doing some shit that you just conjuring up and getting people in situations that didn't need it, because again, I'm still trying to figure out how'd you arrest up the brother, right? Latreus Perry. What was he talking about? Resisting what? What was he arrested for? How can he have resisting arrest? And I keep telling y'all, anytime you know somebody and you look at their file, or you ever get a chance to look at the criminal background, or they change some shit about resisting arrest, a lot of times that shit ain't something they did. That's some shit the motherfucker just throwing on you to give you something. Because see, they use that resisting arrest, so when they go in the system, say, oh, you fight cops. So now when they just slapping shit up and you have pride, they're gonna say, see, you always fight cops anyway. So I mean, that's what you see. The bullshit that these motherfuckers do at times when they got people like this motherfucker, this it's a Barrett Teague. When you got cops like this, then the rest of you got to take the bullshit because he's the one bringing that shit. He's bringing that kind of spirit upon y'all. And you can't be mad at the citizenry because they want to say, hey man, that shit ain't cool what you doing. If you was in that position and the motherfucker was doing that to your lady, your woman, your wife, your mother, you know what I'm saying, your grandmother, you would be like, wait a minute, motherfucker, this shit ain't necessary, right? But due to the simple fact that, again, people try to say that black people don't like authority or don't like the police, but there's still the respect there. Not because so much of, see, it's not he was respecting you, Barrett Teague. He only respect the position because the position give you a power that, again, he could get away with, and we all know this shit. But if you just been mano a mano, regular motherfucker doing that shit, he would have probably got in your ass, right? And y'all know that shit. So you hide behind the motherfucking badges and shit, doing all the shit that you do. So, again, we have to look at this shit. Again, you left a little boy in there. You take both the pants. So let me look at this too real quick. So you arrest the mama who was driving the car. You arresting the passenger because he was there present to make sure that things didn't get too out of hand. And because you reached out first, he was there and you pushed on him. So now he getting resistant, and now they got the baby in the car. You actually drove off according to the way she was making it appear, right? You drove off. She had to go wild, kicking her, hey, motherfucker, my baby up in there. Motherfucker, go back and get my baby, right? But see, maybe in his mind, if he arrests both of them, then child custody would go take the child from them. You know, you never know the depthness of some of how these motherfuckers be thinking when they try to, because again, it's like there is an unwritten code by motherfuckers who are doing shit when they get a chance. Say, man, I could get 2, 3 in one, catch. And again, you didn't have use of force before, so you already got issues. We don't know what all that is, but just them using it and saying it, now there's a probability that he's going to get criminal charges because the system was okay with just administrative and looking at, no, more than that. See, it can't be just also losing a job when you're doing criminality too, because see, if it was on the civilian side, we're going to be getting criminal charges. But it's going to have to be the same way. When it's good for this goose, it's going to be good for that gander. And again, this is Black Minds News, the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Subscribe, like the video, dislike the video, share how you want to do it. But it is what it is. Until the next show, y'all. Stay black, love, peace, and all that good shit. One love.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, and it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the world.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here? Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
complex is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3, 4. There are only 2 possible explanations. They were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to fucking kill you! You can't make me do anything like my friend! Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptist. We're not brutalized because we're Methodist. We're not brutalized because we're Muslim. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not going to let this government get 2 of us for the price of 1. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.